let's see, single player, new game plus. Okay. Let's see here. What do I want to do this with? Gaming news, yeah. Let's do gaming news. Okay. Alright, so let me go ahead and turn my window capture back on. Because I think it's the Genshin Impact channel that should have stuff for me to watch. Okay, so I kind of still salty I wasn't able to get into the beta for this. Because, the last video that they saw that I watched was when they were working on the music, and then they outsourced their orchestral soundtrack to an orchestra in London. So meanwhile, we have I think state of gameplay trailer that came out 4 weeks ago. I think I already watched this, but let me double check and see. Oh yeah, you can play this game in Japanese dub. Although this game is originally Chinese, because China. Hold on, let me turn off my controller display, my bad. Death counter is done. The controller is done. Where is my thingamabob? There we go. Alright. Let's watch. Let me go ahead and restart this video. My bad, my bad. Okay. My bad. Here we go. Of course it's a Chinese village. Like, you can't have a Chinese fantasy game without, like, an actual Chinese location. Was this disturbance to which I awaken? Well, it's coming out real soon. The adventure comes to PlayStation 4, but you can also play this on PC and Nintendo Switch. Alright, let's see what the developers have to say.
原神是我们第一款开放世界动作 RPG 游戏，不仅面对主机、PC 和移动平台的玩家，更面向全。
Hold on a second, let me go ahead and move my face cam so you guys can see the subtitles. There we go. I'm just gonna be chilling right above. Yeah, that'll be fine. It's the first open world action RPG. It is aimed at players on consoles, mobile devices, and PC. Well, this game actually became crossplay. Oh, I hope it's cross-platform before Dauntless can get on mobile.
全世界的玩家。2012年，米哈游在上海成立。16年9月，我们发布了手游《崩坏3》。17年和18年，我们向全世界玩家推出了这款游戏。今年初，我们还发布了 PC 版，并受到全球玩家的喜爱。但米哈游做游戏的初衷就是要 out of imagination。 所以17年的时候，我们就想，如果有一天有一款可以不受设备的限制，在不同平台都能玩到，自己也好，和朋友一起也好，去自由探索更大、更美、更具异国风情和诗意的开放世界游戏，一定很有意思。
要制作一款多平台的开放世界游戏，开发的复杂程度是非常的高。 我们必须站在多平台的视野去思考游戏的制作，了解各个平台的优劣点，确保我们的游戏既能够在 PC、移动和主机平台都顺畅的运行，又能够发挥各个平台的硬件特性。比如在和美术团队一起开发图形功能的时候，我们首先要制定一个全平台的综合解决方案，并且为每一个平台选择合适的技术实现。然后基于这个方案，各个平台再分别制作。
Let me also go ahead and raise the window capture so you guys can see the subtitles without my cursor getting in the way. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, there we go.
合适的美术制作规范。
Okay.
才能开始进行功能的实现和美术资源的制作。制作完成以后，我们还需要进行验收和检查。为此，我们也开发了多平台的自动化检测工具。另外一方面就是我们确实经验不足，团队呢也比较年轻。而 PS4 作为一个为游戏开发量身打造的平台，它的硬件设计是非常巧妙的，再加上薄到几乎没有的驱动层，开发起来的自由度非常的高。这也就意味着要高效开发的难度就更高了，对开发者的要求也更高。feature 开发的功能完成仅仅是第一步，合理的利用 PS 的硬件特性进行优化，往往需要花费更多的精力。而幸运的是，我们的团队总是充满了热情和朝气，在 beta 测试期间收集到的各种问题，团队也鼓足了干劲在解决。
但是在 PS 的研发上，也允许我们在更多细节上精益求精，比如 PS 出色的 GPU， 让我们在图像技术上能尝试更多的运用和实现，去营造开放世界体验需要的沉浸感。
我们尝试用多种技术来实现丰富的光影细节变化，希望能够通过这些细节来忠实反映出原神里丰富的自然和人文环境。原神的世界24小时，因此在光照上我们也采用了24小时的全动态光照方案，让相同的地点随着时间的流逝展示出不同的景致。游戏中的山石、建筑、人物都有动态投影。为了提升在阴影中场景的立体感，我们采用了多种技术来实现高质量的ambient occlusion，可以让人物和物件在阴影中也投射出柔和的次阴影，不会显得浮空。再加上 SMA 和 TAA 的混合抗锯齿技术，整个画面会更加细腻。
Damn.
同时，不同的天气条件也会改变光影，比如不同区域、不同时间段，我们会用不同浓度的体积物来丰富大世界地貌的表现。而体积物受到局部光的照明，会形成朦胧的光晕，并且扩散出去，提升场景的空间感。场景的物体还会因为遮挡了太阳光或者月光而产生漂亮的 Gutter Ray 效果。
Wow.
除了时间、天气等自然因素，到了城市街头，各种人文因素也会进一步的增添光影的细节。
I wonder what engine they
比如我们能
used.
看到，人物角色和 NPC 在多种光源的照射下，能够投射出多条不同的影子。在对阴影技术提升以后，我们支持多盏有动态光影的 Local Light， 最多能达到近100盏。而 Cluster Diffuse Lighting 的技术更加支持我们在视野中同时出现超过500盏灯，来勾勒出璃月海灯节独有的繁华绚丽。
Whoa, that's kind of
在历
cool.
经整整3年，前后400多位成员共同的努力下，我们很高兴，终于能在这个秋天让《原神》正式和大家见面了。通过《原神》，我们希望向玩家呈现一个宏大而微小的世界。目前，我们开放了20到30平方公里的地图，里面分布各式各样的怪物、秘境、谜题和采集物，而这还只是提瓦特大陆7大主要城邦中的前2座。但是，让宏大的开放世界变得迷人的，恰恰是细枝末节。我们也从细节处着手，去营造世界的真实感，比如去模拟角色和 NPC 的行为和生活方式。在蒙德城，独自玩耍的小孩在桥上喂鸽子，偷懒的骑士在城墙下打盹。日暮时分，万家灯火逐次点亮，吟游诗人来到大教堂后的墓地，为女儿献上一支歌曲。这些平静而不平凡的生活，等待玩家去了解、发现，甚至改变。
Wow.
我们希望将原神打造为一个包容的、充满不同文化风情的美丽幻想国度。每一座城邦都拥有独特的文化氛围和背景故事。玩家遇到的第一座城蒙德，崇尚自由和骑士精神， 城市场景设计也充满欧式风格元素。而
Mm-hmm.
璃月则是设计团队将中式美与原神世界契合，基于现实风景的浪漫幻想。我们结合了中国古典的苏轼。
Well, let me go ahead and erase my face cam. I didn't expect them to write a whole paragraph for the subtitles. Yeah. I could see like the game coming alive with like the different details they put into NPC interaction with like the 24-hour cycle and the different lightings that they have and what each character will do and behave in these different situations and stuff. If it makes the world feel a little more natural, just like how Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is. And plus, like, we're only introduced to like 2 locations at the moment, which is part of the story, and they're going to continue expanding. And of course, but by the least of it, this seems like, I don't know if it's going to be like a major launch, but it seems to be like a soft launch with high expectations. So I can't wait to try this for myself. I think it's going free to play, maybe. I think.
是松竹园林、徽式水乡这些传统文化建筑元素，以及像黄龙这样的中国奇绝自然景观，甚至还有在东方古典和武侠文化中常出现的一种意象——芦苇荡，让璃月城和它周围的景致兼具戏剧性与自然美，想给全世界的玩家传达一种东方幻想的气韵。
为了让玩家能够更真实地感知《原神》的世界，我们还深化了《原神》的元素互动系统。我们还原了现实中常见的自然现象，和剑与魔法的幻想进行了有机的结合。我们希望玩家能够通过观察周遭环境中的一山一水、一草一木，结合自身的能力，在探索、战斗的过程中灵活运用，进而与同伴、与这个世界产生更多的共鸣。在战斗过程中切换不同的角色，让每个人物独特的元素技能加以配合，就可能创造出惊人的连锁反应。如果玩家选择跟朋友进行 co-op 模式的话，更能体验到因地制宜和因人制宜的战斗乐趣。
原神和传统的主机游戏不一样的地方在于，我们是一个长期运营的游戏。上线后，我们还会继续增加更多好玩及精彩的内容，提供更加广阔的探索空间、多样的玩法及活动。
同时，在上线以后，我们也会继续的听取玩家的建议，对 PS 的版本进行改进，不断的优化和稳定游戏，进一步的提升在 PS 上面的技术表现，为玩家带来更好的单机和联机体验。还有更多的功能也在开发中，比如与原神渲染风格更契合的 HDR 显示，以及在不久之后的版本中，我们还将在 PS 上对角色的渲染进行一次大幅度的提升，同时场景的画面也会得到进一步的增强。
我们很自豪将很多的构想打包装进了原神里。原神将在9月28日登陆 PlayStation 4，支持13种不同语言。目前预购已经开启，我们也为 PlayStation 4的玩家提供了独占内容和预购惊喜。在此，我们诚挚地邀请玩家们作为旅行者来感受、发现这个美丽的奇幻世界。
Wow. I feel like they really have been putting on plenty. I know this primarily has been a PC platform adventure first, but the fact that they actually really put in like the extra effort to like perfect the PS4 version, considering like that's the technical the extra specific technical details that the PS4 can do for the rendering and everything else. That's wow. That kudos to them to actually do that for Genshin Impact, with like 13 languages supported for the game. Plus, there's English dub for this too. Although, when it was advertised worldwide, Genshin Impact was advertised with Japanese voice acting because, of course, when you see this type of game, you consider this like a animated feature game, and the Japanese language tends to resonate the most with a lot of these Asian animated media. But you can also consider Korean as like another language, considering that you have MapleStory, which is originally a Korean animated media thing, and then but the Korean and Japanese are up there when it comes to like the default language on how animated characters and media such as Genshin Impact are portrayed. The other game that people are looking forward to is Blue Protocol. I don't know if there's any other news for Blue Protocol yet, but let me go ahead and see this character demo video that they just recently put out. Chi-Chi.
I am Chi-Chi. I am a zombie, and I forgot what comes next.
Oh no, she's a what's it called? Yeah, she is a zombie. She's one of those whatchamacallits, what do you call what do you call it? Oh, she's one of those junctions. Yeah, if you see like somebody wearing that hat, their skin is pale, they have like a taboo thing on their face, you know it's a junction. Every Asian online game has to have their junctions.
Forgot what comes next. I want to build a snowman. Will you help?
She just sounds like a very, 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 very depressed Anna. Unless that's the direction her character is meant to be taken. But she sounds very depressed. Like, more depressed than how depressed I could sound with my voice. That could also be a good thing.
The wind is frigid. I like it. Hold my hand, please. This wind could blow me away. Wheel of life. Life goes on. Orders given. Orders received. I should have stayed indoors today.
Who the heck is she voice acted by? Prepare for trouble and make it double. That voice is like 10 years older than she looks. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the story teaser. There's going to be spoilers and stuff involved, which is the same thing with the last trailer for Devil May Cry 5. At this point, I'm pretty much used to trailers spoiling and teasing way too much information than they should, but I think I will eventually forget about what's released and what's revealed in this trailer anyways, so let's see what happens. Oh, that's a treant.
Outlanders do not belong in this world.
Damn, this rendering though.
One day, this journey will reach its end. But until the abyss has engulfed the thrones, my war with destiny will see no end.
Before I continue on, another thing about Asian games is that unlike Western games and Western media and all that, you can tell how it doesn't matter if it's a Japanese, Korean, Chinese, or whatever composer. When they're composing music and they have access to an entire orchestra, you could bet all your money that they're gonna have the strings and the piano, particularly the strings and the piano, be highlighted so much in a lot of serious music for a lot of games. So as you can hear, there's a lot of strings going on in the background. They will have a piano solo guaranteed. There's always a piano solo somewhere. Maybe a woodwind somewhere here and there if they decide a solo flute or a solo clarinet. But when it comes to Asian media music, it's all about the strings, the piano solo, and the occasional woodwind that they have to throw in there. If they want to do the brass section, then they would have to save the brass instruments for a jazz composition. So that's a note of that for a lot of Asian media stuff in general. But at the same time, if it works to set the mood and stuff. So like, if you take like the fantasy atmosphere of, let's say, The Witcher on Netflix versus what this game is going to be, and Final Fantasy is also a popular like a Japanese media franchise, then the contrast in the setting versus the music greatly differs between both media, because you have like a Western fantasy, like a European fantasy, and although Genshin Impact is like a mixed inspiration of stuff, the way the music is composed, I know they outsourced their orchestra to an orchestra in London. There's a great contrast in general with how they like set the mood and the tone and the stuff with the music that they compose. Okay, enough nerding out.
Your Highness, our plan to weaponize the dragon has been impeded.
By the Animo Archon. He rises again for the dragon's sake?
No, not the Archon. We were well prepared for his interference. Regrettably, Your Highness, the issue is your brother.
Outlanders, your journey ends here.
We will be reunited, dear brother. But not here. Not now. We will meet at this journey's end. Once the dust has settled,
Oh no, it's a sibling rivalry.
you will understand.
Okay. Kind of an idea of how this goes. You have a whole roster of different characters to play too. Oh wow, it's coming at the end of this month. You have like 24 days to get ready for this game. Jesus Christ. I don't really want to watch any of the beta footage because I really wanted to like play the beta for itself. Oh shoot, we have a Lantern Festival, of course, because it's a Chinese game. Ooh. Is this 60 FPS? That renders pretty beautifully. Told you, there's piano. There's always piano somewhere. This doesn't seem too spoilerish, but... Alright, let's take a look at these lighting effects. There's a lot of lens flares here, but honestly, it doesn't bother my eyes too much, personally speaking. Because you have the light from the spirit animal, you have the light from the lantern, so... And then you have this, the fireworks, that's so bright. They're so freaking bright. But at the same time, like, to each one your own, to adjust the settings of your lighting. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. That looks like it's rendered pretty well. I'm impressed. Okay. So while we're at it, since I was talking about Blue Protocol, let me go ahead and see if they've released anything new regarding Blue Protocol lately. So the Lazy Peon, I watched his video of Blue Protocol. He does enjoy it, but there's of course features that have yet to be fixed and stuff. Okay, I think Blue Protocol has let me see if they uploaded anything new on their channel lately. The last thing they uploaded was like 2 months ago. It doesn't seem like they recently updated anything new. It is by Bandai Namco. And... let me see. Everything you need to know about the upcoming anime MMORPG. What was the latest video about this game? Blue Protocol, 2 months ago. So the latest news is from MMO Byte from 2 weeks ago. So... let's see what the latest buzz is about with Blue Protocol before I switch.
Is this a week or what? Blue Protocol, New World, Tower Fantasy, Genshin Impact, PSO2, Elion, Rollfall, Final Fantasy, and even new upcoming MMOs like Rebirth Online and Valiant Online, and just so much more. Yeah. So if it wasn't evident, we have an absolute metric ton of MMO news to go through in this week's weekly bite of MMORPG news. Real quick though, before we jump in, we are going to be streaming some more Guild Wars 2 in a few hours after this video goes live. You know, if you want to come on over and join in on the fun, we stream a variety of different MMORPGs over at our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MMOBite. We stream every Tuesday, every Saturday, and every Sunday at 3 p.m. EST. You know, if you maybe just want to go ahead and join in on the fun, or potentially appear in a future video yourself. Also, real quick, we have a giveaway going on. If you win, you can choose any MMORPG, Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, ESO, BDL, and New World, any game you want. Completely free. Instructions on how to enter are in the description and the pinned comment. It's really that easy. Otherwise, I guess let's just go ahead and jump into this week's weekly bite of MMORPG news. Before we go any further though, today's video is sponsored. Have you ever wanted to command your own ship, traverse the infinite depths of space, combat fearsome fire-breathing giant lizards? Then you're in luck. I have just a free-to-play game for you. Welcome to Entropia Universe. A world, no, more than a world, a massive, endless universe filled with countless opportunities. Become a space pirate, seek out and hunt monsters, mine for resources, all the while earning real-life money off of your efforts in-game. This is more than just your average game. This is a second life for you. Make Entropia Universe your new home. You'll never want to leave.
That might be a good thing or bad thing.
Let's go ahead here and start this off with Tower of Fantasy. For those of you that are unaware, this is an open world anime MMORPG, one that I am highly anticipating. We had a trailer released earlier this year that showed us some of what the game has to offer, but the two new trailers released detailed much more. We got one showcasing character creation, which is quite extensive it seems, and one...
Really? Hold on. Okay, so we have color sliders. Let me see if like the thing will pause and okay. So we have character sliders and this and all that. Of course, it's another MMORPG by China, I believe. Yep, China as usual.
Creation, which is quite extensive it seems, and one showing what the world has to offer, providing a deeper look at various different aspects of the game, including more emphasis on combat, more of the story, and finally more exploration of the world. And let me tell you, while yes, the UI is disabled, so we're technically unable to accurately discern what the game will look like with it enabled, UI aside, this game looks and plays beautifully, which is crazy. If you're looking for more info, I strongly recommend either checking out our website at mmobite.tv, which has info on the game including its expected release date, or just navigating on over to our dedicated video on it.
Yeah, what about
Terra's
Terra?
in the news for two different reasons today. First, the game finally upgraded to a 64-bit compatible client, meaning less crashes, less lag, and more opportunities for the game, which is honestly about time. Players have been waiting on an upgrade for a long while at this point, too long. The update brought with it new dungeons and a new raid as well for players that wanted to jump back into the game. Then second, they are creating a kind of like a MOBA mode spin-off, Terra Battle Arena, which will take heroes from the main Terra game and give you control over them individually, taking them into battle against other players for seemingly no reason at all. This is, in my opinion, absolutely pointless and a waste of money, but they need to spend the money that we give them somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the few of you that still play Runes of Magic, or for those of you that are looking to return to the game, this is a perfect opportunity to, as Gameforge is holding summer events all month. Different events will take place every single week, providing a plethora of different things for players to do. If you've been waiting, then this is probably your best bet to get in game and participate.
Ah, New World for Amazon.
Roughly 2 weeks ago, New World held their density test, which allowed thousands of players into the upcoming MMO concurrently, and well, the results have been kind of mixed. On the positive side, players were saying that the game has a lot of promising features, all of which were kind of like, I don't know, a work in progress, I guess, but the core of the game seemed to be a lot of fun. But then at the same time, on the negative side, players were saying that the game felt empty and nothing at all like an MMO. Both positive and negative players agreed on one thing though. New World is not ready to launch, not at all. It is evident that the game needed to be delayed at least a year or so to polish the issues it had, and Amazon grossly overestimated their abilities when developing the game.
Mm-hmm. Vindictus.
Vindictus actually just rolled out their brand new character, Lether, and man is she fun. I took her for a good ride last week, and she is a smooth, flexible fighter. Probably the most fun I have had in Vindictus has been on her. This is their 16th character, their 16th. After all these years, they are still somehow continuing to push out not only new content, but new classes to keep players playing. They're smart, I'll give them that. They know where their market is. Cute new female fighters that are better looking and play better than their last addition to the game. I'll give you
Isn't that a little bit sexist to do, though? Not like I'm simping or anything, but
credit here, Nexon. So, Rebirth Online is a brand new MMORPG that just released onto Steam to pretty negative reviews. Mr. 69 are actually going to play through and do a dedicated video on this soon, so be on the lookout for that. For the time being, though, I would probably advise against playing the game until we take a proper look at it. Now, if DC Universe and Champions Online are bumming you out, then you might be interested in Valiance Online, a brand new upcoming superhero MMORPG. Earlier this week, it actually began its 1-week open beta test, allowing anyone and everyone to jump on in and take the game for a test ride. There is currently no NDA in place that will stop players from streaming or recording or otherwise sharing their experience in the game, and there will be periodic updates over the course of the beta test that could and likely will require the occasional restart of the game client. I am excited to see this in a publicly playable state, and honestly, I might end up streaming this before the beta closes, maybe this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. EST, so tomorrow, literally 24 hours, maybe 27 hours after this video goes live.
I honestly don't know how to feel about superhero multiplayer games in general, because I tried, like, DC Universe Online. It was okay. The controls feel kind of janky, the movement feels kind of janky, and I never got a chance to try a Marvel Ultimate Alliance or something before they shut it down. I don't know, it's just like they can't ever perfect like a superhero online game properly nowadays. If there's no working formula, and even though there's people on DC Universe Online, I don't know why anyone would even bother nowadays, even trying.
For those of you that are unaware, a little while ago, Ascent Infinite Realm was renamed Elion, and the game underwent an entire overhaul, changing everything about the game. Recently,
I remember.
The game held a closed beta test, and players finally got to take the game for a test run. Quite a bit was experienced. The combat changed from tap target to a complete action combat system like Terra or Black Desert. The graphics were improved, the abilities were altered, the game itself at its core was changed. Instead of the MMO taking place predominantly within the skies, as per its name Ascent, the game now takes place pretty much on the ground with the ability to fly around, but aerial combat and content is severely limited. But the most important thing that was taken away from this was the fact that Elion has been confirmed to be releasing within South Korea this year, in December specifically. And with the global launch of the game confirmed, you can bet that it won't be long before we get our hands on it.
I want to try this myself, honestly. It looks pretty cool.
Last week, Phantasy Star Online 2 launched onto Steam. Finally, I know. And it has had almost 20,000 concurrent players playing every single day since, which is really, really damn good, considering there are still many players playing through the Microsoft Store. Honestly, I don't know why they would, but I mean, you know, they still are. With the Steam release, 33 countries gained access to the game as part of their global release, which, while wasn't entirely global, allowed for quite a number of additional players to play. But this update brought quite a bit with it. Episode 4, which is set 2 years after the events that transpired in Episode 3, this introduced a new level cap of up to level 80, bringing with it new abilities. There's a brand new PvP arena, a new overhauled friends list, additional character slots, arcs, mission delights, quarter seasonal events, and just so much more. And with episode 5 literally right around the corner, this is an ideal time to get into the game if you haven't already, or we're waiting on the Steam release.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know if I'll ever return to Phantasy Star Online 2.
14's 5.3
because
patch.
Here's the thing with me on Phantasy Star Online 2. Not gonna lie, I do enjoy the combat. I do enjoy the aesthetics of the game. But I just don't like it. I just don't like them both in a setting where everything is just completely instance-based. When it comes to like instance-based online games, I'm very picky about like what kind of game that I want that is. Maybe I'm just not really a person who likes instance-based games in general. I just like to explore and go out into the environment on my own and explore freely on my own without any limitations as to hold me back from exploring and stuff. Because when I go through like the basic maps of Phantasy Star Online 2, within the hours that I played, I just couldn't get through it, and it's like, because there's also the grind aspect to it in order for me to like get through the rest of the story cutscenes and whatnot before I could do any raids with people or anything. It's just not a game that I find personally do enjoy, but I can see like how a lot of people do like it and enjoy playing with others for it. And apparently, unlike the people who I used to play Maple Story 2 with, I don't see myself getting back into Phantasy Star Online 2 anytime soon, despite me really enjoying the combat and the aesthetics of the game, for sure, for sure. That's just my perspective on it.
Released earlier this week, and man, what a roller coaster of emotions that was. I won't spoil anything for those of you that have yet to play through the update, but man, does Square know how to put together a damn good story. As you'd expect, the patch brought with it many additions. A brand new dungeon, the new Nier Automata themed 24-player raid, new gear, new glamour options, new dwarf...
Wait, hold on. What game is this?
Spoil anything for those of you that have yet to play through the update, but man, does Square know how to put together a damn good story. As you'd expect, the patch brought with it many additions. A brand new dungeon, the new Nier Automata themed 24-player raid, new gear, new glamour options, new dwarf tribe quests, the extension to the story. I can't see 5.4 topping 5.3 in terms of impact, but I'm looking forward to heading into 5.5 so we can see the conclusion of the Shadowbringers expansion next year. If you're interested, we're actually going to have our thoughts on the 5.3 patch uploaded in video form probably next week or the week after, so make sure to keep an eye out.
I know like Final Fantasy XIV is a subscription-based online game, just like World of Warcraft for the past decade or so. It does look good. I'm kind of low-key interested in Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm just not willing to like shell out like a subscription for it at the moment. Okay, what about Genshin Impact?
Mystics finally wrote up, recorded, and edited her full thoughts and impressions on the upcoming Genshin Impact RPG. Currently, the game is undergoing its final PS4 closed beta test, however, it is confirmed to be releasing before October on PC and mobile devices, with the PS4 release being delayed a little later towards the end of the year. Overall, it seems as though Genshin Impact is a beautiful game that holds a lot of promise. It has fast, smooth, high-quality action combat, a plethora of characters, and plenty of things to do, but it's held back by its limited dailies, its grind, and the characters that are locked behind the terrible gacha system. While it's fully playable without spending a single cent, the fun, the variety, will only be accessible to players that sink a lot of money into the game.
Ooh. Oh. Okay, I need to get in. See, that's gonna make or break. Here's the thing, though. Because the fact that this game is also going to be on mobile devices, of course they're going to incorporate the gacha system, a freemium game, and that just makes or breaks people. Well, gamers in Asia, particularly China and Korea, will be willing to, and possibly even Japan, Taiwan, or even the Philippines, or most of Asia, the Asian gamers might be able to shell out the money to be able to get the stuff, and get what they want with the gacha system. But it's not really going to appeal to Western players, which might break the game, despite it having beautiful visual graphics and amazing combat. Now I'm having a little level of skepticism because of the fact that they incorporate the gacha system, making it like a freemium game like any other mobile app games on the market. And again, I am talking to myself because I am a lunatic. Anyways.
For those of you that thought Blast Unleashed would remain an Xbox exclusive, yeah, boy were you wrong. While it was confirmed to remain as such, NeoWiz announced that they would be self-publishing once again over on PC, and then a couple days ago actually announced that the game would also be launching on a PS4 as well. The beta test for the upcoming launch actually being scheduled for next week on August 20th. The beta test will run through August 24th, and players can pre-register for the closed beta in advance if you're looking to experience the game on PS4. Otherwise, just, go ahead and wait for the Founders Packs to roll out and waste money on another head start. Or you can wait for the PC Founders Packs, they'll both accomplish more or less the same thing, burning a hole in your wallet. I know, but Styx, Path of Exile isn't even an MMO. True, but We still cover it whenever anything exciting happens, and you know what? Something exciting just happened. It was confirmed that the next league is scheduled to be rolling out onto PC on September 18th, with consoles following shortly after on September 23rd. And they're already planning for the next patch, 3.13, after this one goes live next month, which is a crazy release schedule. Like, guys, I do not know how the devs managed to pull this kind of release schedule off, but somehow they do, so kudos to them.
Okay, Crowfall.
This has been a long time coming. Crowfall, an MMORPG announced back in 2015, has finally entered beta testing as of last week, and it is in rough shape. Like, not rough as in bad shape, but players have noted how rough the game looks and feels, which stands to reason, of course, as Crowfall isn't anywhere near being in a complete state, and likely won't be for several years to come. But it's promising knowing, or more than knowing, seeing that the game has hit this milestone, even if it did take 5 years to achieve. At least we weren't scammed out of almost $10 million like Chronicles of Illyria.
Scammed. Well,
and finally, the news.
Yeah, honestly, with Crowfall getting into like the beta phase for it, here's the thing I'll give it credit for. They've been slowly but surely improving the performance for it. But at the same time, it's mostly like a guild, a game that's definitely for guilds first, and everything else and honestly, the Crowfall's mechanics aren't completely fully realized. I get what they're trying to do with like a siege MMO and limited time campaigns that will benefit your Eternal Kingdom. But also at the same time, I feel like there should be an opportunity where the game can cater to both like team players as well as socially awkward gamers or introverted people who want to like freely play the game on their own without having to actually force themselves to be involved with other team members, because you have the soloists out there who are just going to be outraged and stuff. Crowfall is not a game for like the most casual gamer of all time. That's what I'll say for sure. As this is as J. Todd Coleman, the former director of Wizard 101 and Pirate 101, took to a different direction with Crowfall than he did with the 101 games with King's Isle, because of his previous experience with working on guild online games, primarily his previous game Shadowing. So there's that. Anyways, about Blue Protocol.
News that I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for. On July 31st, the Blue Protocol Twitter posted several different interviews they did with various different Japanese media outlets. These were interviews that they did online with several of the staff members, the ones directly responsible for the live streams that have been handled up until this point. And there was a lot of information to cover. I went over every facet of the interviews in my recent dedicated Blue Protocol video, but for those of you that kind of want like a too long didn't read, then they wanted to stress that there's a lot of content they need to work on fixing. This is what they're currently focused on right now. Instead of developing new content, they want to go ahead and fix concerns current players had with the game, as it's important that players enjoy what they see first and foremost. They also wanted to reiterate that the recent closed beta test was just that, a test, and as such, a lot of it is subject to change. They confirmed that they will be utilizing mega server technology, allowing everyone to play on the same server, much like the Elder Scrolls Online does, preventing issues with rolling onto different servers to your friends, and they'll be implementing channels to separate players. They confirmed that they're working on introducing new classes into the game, but they want to introduce the classes in a way that won't make old classes feel obsolete, as these newer classes will likely improve on things that already pre-existing classes do. But most importantly, they went on to note that they were already looking at a potential open beta date for Japan and a follow-up closed beta test, but they need to remedy the issues that players have with the game first.
Okay.
Which means that once things have been ironed out, they plan on an additional beta test. That much was all but confirmed, and that sounds promising. And that is it. That is all of the MMO related news that has been brought to my attention over the course of the last 2 weeks. If you know of anything I missed, you can go ahead and let me know via Discord, via Twitter, via the comment section below, Instagram, Facebook, any method you can use to reach out to me. Make sure to include the link to the article so I can take a look at it, read through it, and if applicable, then I can include it in the next news video. Also, yeah, that is actually Carbuncle from Final Fantasy. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time.
All right. All right, so that's our fix for all the upcoming MMORPG online gaming news for today and stuff. I'm actually going to be taking a quick I'm gonna actually take a quick break real quick before we get into my time at Porsche. Whoops, my bad. And I shall be right back after this quick commercial or two from Twitch's sponsors, and hopefully the reception doesn't trash out again. So let me turn on some background music in the meantime, and I shall return maybe shortly. And hopefully Porsche doesn't take too long to load. So we're going to go ahead and finish off our first full year, hopefully winter of Porsche, and then we'll begin a new season of spring with whatever's to come. I don't know if I really want to continue the story, but the lack of an active, engaging audience really doesn't make me feel like I want to do so. Plus, I want to actually build up the money to buy myself a horse anyway, so I can get around Porsche for the late game later on. So, yeah, I'll be right back. After this quick message or two from Twitch's sponsors that I will barely get any pennies from.